Let me go over to you, Achike. I want you to weigh in here. There's something that is actually happening in both parties in Lagos State. That's talking about the ACN and the PDP. Now, in the PDP, it appears to be very quiet. We're not hearing of the kind of crisis we see in the ACN. In the ACN, over the past few weeks now, we've seen several demonstrations, people coming out to say candidates are being imposed on them. But it's a different ball game in the PDP. Why do you think this is?
Well, maybe one might start by saying that perhaps the stakes are much higher within the ruling ACN Action, Congress of Nigeria than the People's Democratic Party. You know that the ACN has been in government in most of the local government areas in the state for so many years now. And so that is bound to generate some dynamics that are probably playing out at this particular point in time. And then again, you must also know that the PDP has not been involved for quite some time in a local council election, especially after the Supreme Court interpretation of the referendum that took place in Lagos State. And somehow I think the PDP has been outside of these problems, and I think that is why. And then, of course, like I said, the stakes are much higher with the ACN, Action Congress of Nigeria, because people have been able to weigh the performances of some of the local government chairmen in Lagos State, and so there's always that possibility that some would be perceived to have actually done well, for this period of time, while some might not have done so well. So there is that possibility of the groundswell of opposition and controversy that is being generated, especially by this election, in Lagos State. And again, the issue of imposition of candidate is one of the major issues that have been propagated by those people who have been staging these protests. That, of course, this has been one phenomenon that cuts across most of the major political parties in the country in the build-up to the April elections.
Let's just leave that for now, and you heard what the candidate said. For instance, Babajide Obanigoro said, he voted in one of the biggest issues he would tackle in Ikoyi or Balindi local government area is the issue of roads. He identified some of the roads there, he said, are really bad. He talked about the clinic and all of that. And then you ask yourself, does the local government have the capacity to take on such a problem?
Well, the issue is that monies are being allocated to the local government councils all over the federation. I think they have about 24% thereabout from the federal revenue going to the local government councils, while the states and the federal government are getting the chunk of these budgets. Again, do not forget that the federal government has greater responsibility in terms of spread, of its influence, and then again the states also have a greater influence, much more greater influence than the local government. So I think it is it's not out of the way to have the kind of resources that are also coming to the local government. But again, local governments are enjoined or are supposed to be imaginative in terms of internal generated revenue. And that's why some of them have been going out of the way to ensure that they can build up their internal revenue profile in order to provide better services for the people. But again, the question
let me just pause you there, because you talked about building up the revenue profile of local government. Let me come over to you, Babajide. You'd like to be called Ibrahim.
What are my names?
Yeah. Now, how, for instance, would you boost the revenue profile of Ikoyi Balindi local government area if you were elected chairman of that local government?
Thank you. The local government itself, it's a lucky local government because
very lucky indeed.
Because we have a strong presence of corporate companies in our local government. So what we intend to do, if and when duly elected, is majority of our programs or projects, we will be private partnership with these companies, because as it is, we have individuals who are single-handedly fixing roads, and we have NGOs who are already contributing to the welfare of our local government. So what we need to do is just sit them down, because what we intend to do, we are going to be hosting maybe bi-quarterly town hall meetings where we would invite all stakeholders and we'll dialogue. We'll talk about how to move the local government forward. We have to start tapping into our tourism areas, because we have a lot of waterfronts which we need to turn around and turn them into a tourism center. The barracks, we have some barracks that we can turn into historical buildings, like the Dun barracks, areas where we have political.
Would you be able to do that?
Yes, it's in my local government, and luckily I am in the same party as the federal government. So these are some of the privileges that I will enjoy if and when duly elected. We need to move forward. Nothing is being done at the moment. I remember when I was in King's College growing up, when we used to come to Ikoyi and Obalende, I always enjoyed the road. I felt it would never get better than it was, because that was how good it was.
That would be an indictment on your party and the state government.
Like I told you earlier, my friend here is actually missing the point. I school at St. Gregory's College, and I know the terrain very well, and I tell you that the roads are very okay. But again, it amazes me, because we're in an enclave called Nigeria and all of that, and I don't believe that we should politic with the life and living condition of our people. Lagos State created 37 local councils for development and for the people of Lagos, for their betterment. But again, the PDP seized the allocation of Lagos for a very long time.
Well, that is past
no. These issues must come to play.
Yeah,
you're talking about the development of Lagos and the people of Lagos. The funds were released, but again the question is, when is the ruling party going to allow the listing of the 37?
Do you think the people of Lagos will be taking that into consideration when they go out to vote on Saturday? Do you think the people of Lagos will be, thinking about that when they are casting their votes on Saturday? They'll be thinking, well, that party prevented us from getting our local government allocation back in 2000 and probably 2006 or 2005, and so for that reason, we're not going to be voting for that party. Do you think the people of Lagos will be thinking about that when they cast their vote on Saturday?
So many indices have to play up. So many indices. We are talking about development of our people. Without adequate funds, local government in Lagos have been able to make life very memeaningful for the people of Lagos.
That's quite surprising, because the general impression that I get, on the street is that local government, of course, we have some that would have performed, but the general impression is that local government administration is a failure in Lagos, and that without the state government, that the state government has been able to do, quite a number of things, but when it comes to local government areas, it's so terrible, and sometimes it's difficult to doubt that, because you talk about the worst of roads, you find them in the local government areas, and that's where the people live.
I beg to disagree with that statement, reason being that, let me borrow a word from the governor. Governor Fashola will tell you that the result of hard work is more work. The more the local government in Lagos perform, the more requests the people of Lagos begin to increase and all of that, forgetting the fact that, like the independent person did say, we don't have that kind of funds to reflect the kind of wishes that the people are expecting.